indoor places, but we perform in villas, in castles, which we have a lot in Friuli,
Yeah.
but all around Italy, of course. So we combine the beauty of the music and the opera with the beauty of the places. So you have two beauties together. I think this is the, how to say, the point of strengthness of Italy, beauty, what we
Yeah.
have more than other countries. And we have to take advantage of this. A lot of times we forget we have this.
Yeah. Mr. Berlusconi once said that there are 1,700, uh, how do you call it?
1700. Oh.
It's not true. It's 1,700 sites of
There are
important
a
thing.
lot of sites.
No,
Well,
in Italy there are 57, but he said 1,700.
yeah,
But
but
counting was
it,
not.
no, it was not right. But then Berlusconi was interested in only one kind of beauty, which is the female beauty. The other beauties is not interested in. So
Yeah,
no, let's hope. What we miss is also to take things seriously, because Italian people is very funny, but sometimes you need to take things seriously. Even managing opera, managing the arts, deserves a lot of professionality.
yeah.
And sometimes we miss in Italy. It's not so easy as it looks. So you need to do a budget plan. You need to do a production plan. It's not easy. And these things I learned in these years, in these 5 years. I started completely like a crazy adventurer, but then I discovered and I learned a lot of things. One of the most important things is that what makes you a winner are the good collaborators. You have to be able to choose the good people around you. I mean,
And give them the
professional,
feeling that they're important. Yeah,
absolutely. But it's difficult to find people which is really able to do things. Most of the time, there is people that can be also, how do you say, the willingness to do things, but is not able. And if you are able to find the right people for the right place, you can be sure that you will win, you will prevail. That's for sure. Because I say prevail because it's like a battle, even in managing business, show business. Ooh, a lot of competition, and it's not easy.
no, but you've been very courageous so far to actually go with your head against the wall in a way, no?
I have a very, very hard head. That's why.
uh, Gabriele, I think I'm going to treat us for a little bit of opera that you participated in.
Yeah.
An opera that I like very much. It's not a great opera, but it's a very funny one, and it's um,
Lenny called an operetta. I don't know
it
why,
is
but
well, it's a okay. Let's say opera buffa
yeah, opera buffa.
moderna, but it's based on the story, obviously, of the man who went to look for happiness through being very candid in life, candide. It's based on a story, on a book, on a play by Voltaire.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about the production.
Well, this was I did two productions of Candide. The first one was in Italian. Imagine.
Really?
Yes, yes. I sang in Italian the first time, Candide, in 98. This one in 2003. Well, this was set in a very important theater in Rome, which is a Teatro Argentina.
Ah,
I mean, it's the theater where Barbiere di Siviglia was performed for the first time in 1815, if I'm not wrong. And this was basically a production done for the video, because we made a DVD this production, and the director is basically a TV director, but he did a great job. You see, the idea of the set was done with this rounding wheel. You see, this on the platform is it's a round platform which is how do
Which
you say?
turns around, which turns, yes.
Turns around. It's turning around, and this was like an imagine of the sky. And so you have also all the stars, a sky with stars behind the scene, and this allows to change the set because in Candide you have, I don't know, almost 30 different scenes because the play of Voltaire it speaks about many different places. One moment speaks about Paris, and 10 minutes later you are in Buenos Aires. So it's really difficult to change so many times the set. And this was a nice production done with most of the cast with American singers. We had a star singing the old lady, which is Rosaline Delias. She's a great American Lebanese mezzo soprano, wonderful woman. I was in love with her. She is wonderful. And we had two American sopranos, and also the part of Voltaire was sung and performed by an American bass baritone, very good also. Let's say I was the only Italian in the first cast. We had also a second cast with more Italians, but in the first cast I was the only Italian, and well, probably also because not now, but at that time my English was better, so I was able to sing quite easily in English, and so I was performing in this opera the role of Maximilian, which is the brother of Cunegonde, the girl which Candide falls in love with. And so basically he's a very, how do you say, a very selfish guy. Also a little bit, he's a little bit female type, very
Vain,
like,
vain, yes.
yeah, it's very vain, and it's very strange because at the beginning he's this selfish and quite stupid brother of Cunegonde. Then you find him again as a priest, a Jesuit in South America, and then at the third time you see like a police officer in the gambling place in Venice. So it's quite strange. And then I did also a second role, which is the captain of the ship, taking Candide to the new world. So it usually it's written that Maximilian has to sing also this small role, which is not easy. But anyway, let's say this opera, it's a great fun.
Yeah.
I think both for singing and for watching. But I think it's really a masterpiece. I think nobody else would be able to put in music such a play because it's so difficult.
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, West Side Story is much more famous than Candide. But
it's something different.
Absolutely. So it was really fun to sing this opera. And I hope to sing in the future too. Maybe in the future I would like to sing Pangloss and the Voltaire role, because maybe now I'm a little bit more wiser than 10 years ago, so I can afford it.
Okay, we're going to listen to Maximilian as he comes on stage for the first time. And he shows above all how beautiful he is.
Yes.
If there was any clown that had the Baron's son Maximilian or the Baron's daughter Cunegonde, it was the difficulty in deciding which of them was the better born or the lovelier.
Life is absolute perfection, as is true of my complexion. Every time I look and see me, I remind me life is dreamy. Although I do get tired, being endless in my pirate, people will go on upon me. How could they go on without me? In the book and I is me, just let them rise to me to be delicious. Life is pleasant, life is simple. Oh my God, is that the people? Don't be just life is happiness indeed.
Life is happiness indeed. I have everything I need. I am rich and unattached, and my beauty is unmatched. With the rose, my only rival, I admit to some frustration. What a pity its survival is of limited duration. Life is
Life is absolute
happiness
suspension, as is
indeed.
true of my complexion. Every time I look at TV, I remind you life is dreamy. Although I do get tired, maybe tendency has wired me. The happy times as I go on without it. Even so good times with me. That's why I go on It is a heavy duty to protect my awesome beauty. I am objection life.
You can see that that was fun.
Yes, yes, yes.
What is nice also is that this is one of the pieces of music that Lenny wrote without having the master on his shoulder, without having Aaron Copland.
Yeah, yes, yes, yes. Well, it works because I received a lot of wedding proposals after singing.
From both sexes, I guess.
Both sides.
Okay. What kind of made me even more interested in hosting you here with us is this very intensive way you have of wanting to always help people and make the best out of every situation. I'll take as an example something that happened in the meeting, at the CP meeting in Bologna, towards the end, at the end of the meeting, at the end of the afternoon. What's her name? Marina Comparato, who was hysterical, and she wanted to talk to I can't remember his name. What's his name?
Yeah, the artistic director, this
Yes.
Tangucci.
And I admired the calm way in which you just solved the situation, and also when talking to you and when we corresponded, you highlighted the fact that singing can and should make a difference, can and should bring out the grace that is so lacking from our life. We do have the grace, la grazia,
Sì. Not in that case. In that case.
Not in that case.
In Marina's case, no.
I know.
No, this is a typical singer scene, let's say.
It's something. It's not only singers. I mean, actors are the same, and
Yeah, probably. I mean, I can understand because basically, probably this is what I miss to be a top singer because I'm not enough selfish. Or maybe I would try to be more selfish, and I'm not able to do such a scene like Marina's one. Usually I say, okay, I take my place, I go back, I go backwards, and I don't do this but she was, I want to talk, I want to talk.
Yeah, but she didn't have anything to say. I mean, I don't want to go into that because
No, no, me too. But I think that what makes me sad sometimes is that a lot of people only thinks about singing as something for himself. I see that a lot of people is not really singing for the public, but just singing to be satisfied about themselves. They are not really going there to give emotions to the public. Maybe sometimes they are able to manage the emotions because they are so full with themselves, so they are able to transmit something. But a lot of times I can't see this. And I'm really sad to see that sometimes even the teachers and say, don't think you are singing to somebody, but this is about the new teachers. Because some new teachers told me, you have to think that there is nobody there. What? So who I am singing to? No, no, there is no fourth wall here. You just talk with your partners and you watch on the objects on the scene, but no public there. So I'm crazy. I sing for two alone. But if you speak with the old singers, my teacher is 83 years old
wow.
and he sang with the young Domingo, with bigger singers. He had, as I told you, 17 years premiere in La Scala. So he sang until Capuccilli came.
Ah, yeah.
Yes, because if he listened to me saying that, I'm dead. Because you can't even say the name of Capuccilli in front of me. Yes, because he always said to Capuccilli, you know, man, I substitute you twice or three times. You never substitute me. Yes, yes, because there is a recording with Kabaivanska, Domingo, Ghiauro, Hernani that originally has to be done by Capuccilli, but then he got sick, and my teacher Carlo Midiciani took the place of Capuccilli. So this is one time, and then he substitute also Capuccilli in Forza del Destino in La Scala, la premiere, and once more also. But anyway, before coming on this Capuccilli and other singers like Bastianini, he was the number one. And it was not easy to be the number one at that time. Also, Proti was at that time. So you had a very big competition of voices. I mean, who was singing the second roles in the 60s, in the 70s, now probably will be like number one.
Yeah.
Because, and let's say that now the main baritones, which are in charge, like Nucci, let's say even Bruzon, even if he's old, or Juan Pons, they are very good in trying to avoid other people to come in the place because they are very good to keep their preeminency. Can you say that? The first place. Of course, they are great artists, but let's say, unfortunately, in singing, we don't have pension like in work. So they can sing so long they have voice. But for us young singers, this is not easy because you don't have place to try to come out. So it's more difficult.
We're going to talk a little bit about how the relationship is built with the audience. But first, I would like to go take us to one of the major interesting requiems. I must confess that I had a kind of a fetish for requiems. I think I had about 40 different requiems.
Wow.
Yes, yes.
So you have also Duruflé, of course.
Yes, yes, yes. And I think Nira and I started our relationship around Fauré's Requiem. No, it's not true, but we are. But,
Well, it's not a nice way to start a relation with the requiem. Excuse me,
Well,
man, but
for it's nice.
with foray, it's okay.
Foray, I sang also Foray is wonderful.
It's a wonderful record.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really.
I sang in the main version and even in the chamber version
Ah, yeah?
with the small orchestra. Yes.
I must confess also that the Verdi Requiem for me is not, I mean, it's fantastic to sing. It's a pleasure
opera.
to sing, but it's opera. It's not.
It's opera, absolutely.
And where was this produced? The Ein
This
Deutscher
was in Cagliari,
in Cagliari.
Cagliari, Sardinia.
The famous.
This is the orchestra and the choir of the theater of Cagliari. Conductor is a very good friend of mine, Filippo Maria Bressan. Usually, he's a conductor of 18th century music, like especially from Veneto, like Salieri or this kind of music. Monteverdi also. He conducts more Baroque music, but he has a very strange connection also with the late 19th century music and the contemporary music. So basically, he misses only the romantic music. Of course, Brahms can be romantic too. It's romantic, but it has a very, Filippo says that Brahms has a very strict structure in writing music, much more than other composers. So he's very methodical in composing music. So he can find, how do you say, the structure of the music, and it's easier for him to conduct.
Yeah. Well, Brahms was always afraid that somebody is going to be better than him all the time.
And I think this is everybody is a little bit frightened about that, even in singing. He said, I heard that, for example, this story told me my maestro, because of course he hates Cappuccilli, that at the beginning Cappuccilli, when he was taking part in the competitions or in the auditions in the theaters, when he knew that another good baritone was going to be in the same audition, he was like making a fake voice, calling this guy. I said, "Don't come tomorrow because the audition it has been postponed to the next week." I thought he was the alone at the audition, so he was a big cheater. You know, it's nice. I have to use this trick also. It's not bad.
Okay, so let's listen to the Requiem by Brahms. I think it's the only Requiem in German, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I think it's the only one. Well, also Schubert. I sang also Stabat Mater by Schubert in German, and there is something in German. But Requiem, I think it's the only one.
Stabat Mater, yes, but Requiem. First of all, you know, Requiem is Catholic, and mostly in Germany you would have more of the Protestant music, but beautiful piece. I mean, it's I love this
the
piece.
music is wonderful.
And,
I think this piece. This is the number 3, if I'm not wrong. Herr, lehre doch mich is, I think, maybe one. But all the Requiem is very beautiful. Even the second movement is wonderful.
Yeah.
So it's the music. It's more than 1 hour of music. It's like I don't know, like a dream all the time.
Yeah. Well, Brahms had this dreamy quality in a lot of things
Absolutely. He was able to do like a symphony, starting for a very simple piece of music, maybe just 5-6 notes. Like in this case, you have to say, Herr, lehre doch mich. It's like 4 notes, but he makes a full movement with this.
Yeah.
So this is like genius. There is no other name for this.
And Schumann had to convince him that he's good. Okay, Ein Deutsches Requiem by Mr. Brahms. And we have here with us Gabriele Ribis, who sings the baritone part.
Mein
sorry that it was cut like that, but
No, it's my fault because I cut like that, but because my part is finished. So unfortunately, people that comes to listen to you, they don't have time. So it is even too long because the agents or theaters that want to, they ask you, do you have something? Yes, I have this. So probably they listen 1 minute and then okay, they like or they don't like. So, but this is really a pleasure to listen.
it is.
Despite of the baritone, but it's very beautiful music.
No, it is, and the part of the baritone is very beautiful. But the whole requiem. Let me ask you a little bit about the love-hate relationship between performer, the triple love-hate relationship between the performer, the creator of the music, and the public. Because there's this trinity, this. How do you break this? What do you do? Are you a missionary? Are you an ambassador of the writer, of the composer, or?
No. It's a very interesting question. Very well asked. And usually it makes me laugh. The people that says you have to do like this because Verdi wrote like this. And sometimes I want to ask, did you call him by phone or did you send a fax to him who asked how it has to be done?
Through Facebook.
Yes, on Facebook maybe, but you have Verdi, you have even Mozart on Facebook, so probably they send a message on Facebook or they do I like. But anyway, I think, in my opinion, basically, it's stupid to try to perform 100% like it was 200 years ago or 300 years ago. The good thing of the opera, generally speaking about classical music, but especially about opera, is, in my opinion, that this music can be valid always. I mean, it was valid 100 years ago. It has a message for 100 years ago. It has a message for today, and it will have a message for the future. So I think the story of marriage of Figaro, the story of Tosca, the story of Orfeo by Monteverdi, the story of, I don't know, Lucia di Lammermoor, can be a way to speak about the man of today. And so because the feelings, the I don't know, the feelings, the story, the loves, the hate, it's the same now that it was 300 years ago. And you have to find the right way to tell this story nowadays. I don't like the people who pretend to treat opera like a painting. It's not a painting. It's not a piece of museum. It's a living piece of art. And this is the beauty thing. I really do believe in the musical theater, because I think it's the most perfect form of art we have on the world, and we can use it to speak about the man and to try to change things, to give a gentle message, because in the present time I think we are always under very hard messages. We can see, also speaking about people, you have a lot of violence, a lot of very explicit sex, something like this. And what I like to give people more gentle message, more message that more than say, just let you, how do you say, do have an intuition of things. But the problem is that now we have everything very direct, and I don't like this. I like more that everybody can understand his own message, and opera is able to do this, in my opinion. And
It's
this is what I try to understand which was the original message of the composer, but I understand what does it mean for me, and then I do like a translation that I give to the public. This is my attempt, let's say.
well, I think in everything that every time we meet a piece of art, and I think it's the same with paintings, even things that are supposedly dead, it's finished. Uh, they have and they receive a new life every time that there is a connection, every time there's a conflict, every time there's a confrontation between audience and work of art. And obviously, when we talk about, well, let's take any piece of literature. If you read something that was written today, you can't read it if it's written today, but if it was written, let's say, a year ago, you read it today, you're translating it. It doesn't matter. In your mind, you're translating it. You're giving it the senses of today. You're giving it the confrontation of today. And obviously with opera, first of all, the name itself, opera, the work, is is a whole life.
Yes.
And the history of opera, when we try and think that, there's a way that we can understand exactly what Monteverdi had in mind, or Vivaldi, we are having fun doing it, I'm sure. I mean, and I'm not, I'm not against or for it. I'm against or for results. And sometimes the results speak miles. Sometimes I saw, you probably have seen also, many performances of Baroque operas directed in a very modern way.
I like it very much.
Sometimes it's fantastic. Sometimes it loses everything. Sometimes, but opera has changed over the last 15 years incredibly. We see, all the technique that we get on stage today is quite, and opera also tells stories that before it didn't dare telling, political stories.
Sure.
You participated in John Adams' death of Klinghoffer. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you know that we had problems with this opera, and this is an very interesting story, the John Adams death of Klinghoffer, because this opera was forbidden to be performed in Italy, because Italy was deeply involved in this story, as you know, because they avoided that Americans, Marines, captured the hijackers in Sigonella, which is an American base in Italy, and then these hijackers escaped. They took a plane, I don't know, they disappeared. And it's a very funny story, because one of the leaders of this operation, Abu Abbas, was captured and found dead, something like this, exactly when I was singing The Death of Klinghoffer for the second time in Prague. And 1 week before the premiere, we had the first suicide attack of kamikaze girl. It was the first one. And the Alice Goodman, which is the libretto writer, decided to write a part for a soprano. Omar, one of the 4 hijackers, is a girl. It's sung by a soprano. So this impressed us a lot, very much. And let's say also that we had a lot of how do you say, problems in Italy because this opera is very well known to be a little bit pro-Palestine. And for this reason, it was prohibited to be performances in Los Angeles. And we had also some protests in Ferrara, where we performed for the first time in Italy, from the community, the Israeli community in Ferrara. Well, I cannot say if it's pro-Palestine or not. I think that they try to keep the problem, and Alice Goodman is trying to understand why these people think that killing is the only way out to the problem. She's trying to understand why these people is not able to live without killing. This is, I think, the most dramatic thing in this story, because I sang one of the four hijackers. My name was Mahmoud, and he says at certain point, once we lose the reason of our fight, we are dead. For a lot of these people, fighting against the enemy, killing the enemy, is the only reason of life. And I think this is the most dramatic thing, because they cannot see another good reason to live for. I think this is very bad. And probably this is tragically true, I think.
It's sad. It's sad.
It's sad, and I think it's very sad to understand that hate is the only answer these people is able to find.
Well, you know, hate is a very strong medicine, and it covers up a lot of your own weaknesses. It's with hate that you can overcome the sense of your own lack of values, whatever. You know, I'm not going to go into history, but we had a lot of small people with a lot of problems, and through hate, that not only their own hate, but using hate and using fear, they became dictators. Fear and hate go together very strongly as good political instruments, you know.
Absolutely, but well, let's say in some reason, these I do say they do this way today also.
Of course.
I can see very easily this, for example, in the United States. They sometimes they do this really heavily, but even in Europe, when you try to use people's fear to force people to do something specific you want they do. And I really like this kind of operas which are able to investigate the today problems. And John Adams is very good in this. They did another very interesting opera, Nixon in China,
Yeah.
which is very interesting to investigate the relationship between China and the United States that today, but in the 70s, were really two opposite worlds. So I think you can, this is really a very good answer to these so-called intellectuals. They say that opera is absolutely dead. It's a form of art of the 19th century. Now it has no reason to exist. This is the answer. You can investigate, you can do social inquiries with opera.
Yeah,
you can meditate on the present.
Definitely, we have some fantastic examples, you know, from John Adams himself to Shostakovich and to...
Absolutely.
I'm going to jump a little bit back in history to the 18th century, to one of the great geniuses of opera. We're going to listen to the one and only Don Giovanni. We don't have a video for that, but I'm a big fan of Mozart's opera. And first of all, they're a pleasure to sing, all of them, and they're a pleasure to watch. I told Nira that I didn't realize until I read your biography that I actually met you on stage many, many years ago in Milan at the Teatro Piccolo. Yeah, I was sitting, you probably don't remember me, but I was sitting up on the
No, I remember you perfectly.
stage left. I was also very impressed by the production. It was a beautiful
Great production.
Very beautiful, yes.
Very elegant. This is a really true Italian style.
Yeah, but it was so intimate. And, you know, it was really as if everybody was having an incredible fun and not, you know, performing and not performing, being and not being, and
Yes.
and everybody was on stage. I mean, the whole audience was it was fantastic.
It should be like that, I think, especially Mozart.
Yeah. So we're going with a Don. This is the right in the beginning. Nira knows the opera rather well because you know, we have a series called The Books You Always Wanted to Read and Never Dared, and in that series we do Ulysses by James Joyce. And in Ulysses, there is a leitmotif that follows the love affair of Molly Bloom and her lover. Molly Bloom is a singer, by the way. She's a soprano. And the leitmotif that follows is the La ci darem la mano.
Okay. I will sing on Sunday.
Ah, yeah?
You can hear me singing La ci darem la mano live.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is not La ci darem la mano?
No, this is Finca del Vino, I think.
Yes, Finca del Vino. Here we go.
Fincarino, calda la testa, una gran festa a preparar. Sento in piazza qualche ragazza, che con quella cerca menar, cerca menar, senza gloride, la danza spia, chi il duetto, chi la follia, chi la demanda, fare ballar, chi il duetto, fare ballar, chi la follia, fare ballar, chi la demanda, fare ballar. E nel frattanto, dall'altro canto, con questa quella va a moreggiar, la mia lista, dove mattina tutta decina deve aumentar. Ma la mia lista tutta decina deve aumentar. Senta di piazza qualche ragazza, e con quella cerca menor. La mia lista dove mattina tutta decina deve aumentar. Senza gloria la danza chi il minuetto, chi la follia, chi la demanda, fare valor. Una decina deve aumentar, una decina deve aumentar, una decina deve aumentar, deve aumentar, deve aumentar, deve
Where was this performed?
This is performed in Verona, the Teatro Filarmonico of Verona, with the indoor theater, very beautiful. And in the same building, it was an academy where Mozart played, I think, as he played in Mantova and in Rovereto during the first trip in Italy, I think. when he was 12, 13, something like this. So it was quite, and this was basically the final concert of a world competition for the roles of the opera, and I won for the role of Don Giovanni. They liked, I proposed a very aggressive interpretation of Don Giovanni because I think that it's a character that likes to enjoy the life, and he wants really to conquer the life in a very aggressive way. He just want to. It's in this meaning is a little bit like Scarpia. When he finds something that he likes, he just take this, he enjoys, and then he throw away. Just like this, very impulsive.
He throws away the chance to regain his self-respect at the end with the commentatore. No, he's offered a possibility to say I'm sorry, but he does not.
Absolutely. Well, I agree with him in this. He's very strict on his behavior till the end. He chooses his life and he keeps his life till the end.
I think the Donna Elvira, Commendatore, Don Giovanni is a beautiful trio. It's,
Absolutely.
the sense of it is very strong.
Well, because Donna Elvira is the more, I think, the most perfect woman of the trio, much more than Zerlina and much more than Don Anna, which is very strange in Don Giovanni that we heard from Leporello that he had a lot of women, like 1,300, but all the opera long is not able to conquer not single one, because with Zerlina it goes bad. I mean, it's very unlucky, so it's very strange. Probably because you have to feel that he's going towards the end of his life and his adventure. But I think it's very important for him to keep his idea of life. And at the end, he says, "A torto di viltade." I don't want to be considered, how do you say, vigliacco, somebody who is scared, somebody who is scared of...
well, it'll come to me in a second.
Yeah. So this is the most, I think this is a very noble behavior, because maybe in a bad way, but he's a coward. Exactly, that's the word. I don't want to be considered a coward from people, and so this is the most important thing for him. Maybe more important than to be alive. So I think it's a very nice character. Well, it happens that when you perform Don Giovanni, probably you are not able to have the best success, because you are probably, if you have a quite nice Leporello, he got more applause than you, because it's more funny. It's like Papageno. I don't know. The Queen of the Night have some chance to be successful, but Tamino and Pamina, they can be the best in the world. But if you have a quite nice Papageno, you will have more success than him. For sure. So this is the same for Leporello, I think. Don Giovanni, I did in this way, and I understood that my character was successful because people hated me. It's like, for example, when you attend Butterfly, maybe you notice that Pinkerton, they whistled, or they don't like him because it's a faker, it's a betrayer, it's a traitor.
If you like him, you don't like the opera.
Yeah, sure. Everybody likes Butterfly, maybe Suzuki, even the Uncle Bonzo, but not Pinkerton. So, but I think that means that the work, it's well done. The job is well done when you do. Of course, if the whistle said, "Oh, you are a dog, you are singing like a dog," this is not good. But if they hate your character, that means that you did a good job. Sometimes happens, and this is a little bit with Don Giovanni, because Don Giovanni is not. It's not funny. It hasn't to be funny. I mean, it's Leporello that is trying to be like Don Giovanni, not the opposite.
Yeah.
Leporello, it's all the opera lontra, because when Don Giovanni is able to conquer a villager, he tries to touch villager, and then having one. Oh, maybe there is something to me too. But he's not able to find anything because he has no charm. And so he tries to be Don Giovanni. But when he can be Don Giovanni, when he's transvestite to try to conquer Don Elvira, he is absolutely lost. What I have to do now? Oh my God. What he's saying? Oh yes, my Lord. Really funny because he's not able to do. So I think also, I think sometimes we forgot that this opera is great because of Mozart, but it's great also because of Da Ponte.
Da Ponte.
Da Ponte did a wonderful libretto, and I have to say that it's very interesting to read the memories of Da Ponte, which is quite a very active. He was very active in having experiences like in the operas. I read incredible stories of love stories all Europe around.
Ah, yeah?
Yes, he was a priest, but they have a different idea of priest in the past. And if you imagine that in the last years, Da Ponte went to the United States and he performed Don Giovanni and Mozart operas in New York. Very strange man. A very unbelievable life he had. And so, very interesting.
Maybe somebody should write an opera about Da Ponte.
Yeah, absolutely.
His operas are fantastic, and it'll be at least a great movie. I'm going to.
I just want to tell you that I sang in Verona, in Legnago, very near to Verona. There is a place called Legnago, which is the birthplace of Salieri, the rival of Mozart. And you have to know that the first libretto that Da Ponte wrote in Vienna was written for Salieri. It's called Il ricco di un giorno, the one-day rich man. And I sang it in Legnago. Yes, and the music, it's nice, but it was a flop. The opera, people didn't like the opera at all. But anyway, this was the first libretto, because Da Ponte was introduced first in Vienna to Salieri, which was the court composer. So then he met Mozart, but Mozart at that time was basically a loser. The winner was Salieri. So very strange, but maybe Mozart now doesn't care very much to be a winner because he's a little bit dead. Maybe he would like to be a winner being alive, but the life is like that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Right. I'm going to bring this evening to a kind of a difficult point. I'm going to try and study a completely new way of presenting a tragedy, a real life tragedy on stage in a different way than what John Adams did. I'm talking about Ripa di Meano in Sani, which tells the story of a fighter, a judge who was a fighter. Tell us a little bit of the story, if you would, please.
Well, the story is about two judges, Italian judges, which were fighting against mafia, and they sacrificed their lives to this cause, because they were both killed by two bomb attacks in 92. So to speak about this today is very, very interesting, because this year are actually 20 years from these bomb attacks. One happened 23rd of May and the other 19th of July. So I remember very well. And this opera tells the story of one of these two judges, Giovanni Falcone, which is the most famous. And it's not done like a real story, so we don't have basically a libretto which tells a story and there is no dialogue, but the old libretto is done with real documents, so with real words that were said, that people said in the past. So you have acts of meetings, you have newspaper issues, you have court council, how do you say, documents. So all these words were really said in the past. And you have also, how do you say, the transcription of interrogatories, you can say that.
Investigations.
Investigations, yeah. So, except one singer, American, Nicholas Isherwood, which was performing the role of Giovanni Falcone, the other two singers, me and Alessandro Svab, and the two actors, were performing many roles. I did two mafiosos, but I did also another judge that was killed by the mafia. I did one member of the Supreme Court of Justice Italian. And so this is all to tell the story of Giovanni Falcone like a story truly happened during the last flight from Rome to Palermo. Giovanni Falcone was killed on the way from the airport of Palermo to the city. He was coming back from Rome because at that time he was like president of the, how do you say, anti-mafia authority, national
committee, yes.
So he was coming back to Palermo to have some days of rest, and probably a spy told to the killers that he was coming to Palermo because, of course, all his movements were secret. But he was, I mean, intercepted by the killers. They put some explosive on the street, and with this explosive, they destroyed two cars and they killed like 7 people among the escorts policemen with Falcone. He didn't die at the first hit, but he died in the hospital because he was too heavily wounded. And so this is like a short opera to tell all the story of Falcone. And this sacrifice allows to a lot of people really to understand how to fight mafia, and that was necessary to fight against mafia. We cannot say that the things are over in Italy. We cannot say that. But of course, these people helped a lot our country to be freed from this plague, I think, and with the sacrifice of their lives.
What happened in the audience, in the performances? What was the feeling?
Well, imagine that we had also the sister of Giovanni Falcone at the first performance, and we had very important people from the Rai television, politicians. This was really an event. And I think it was very special there, as you can see in the video, the mise en scène was very special because the actors basically were walking on the heads, above the heads of the people, of the public, because we were moving on some trucks going up to the head of people. And when we were up to the head, the people can see the action on a big mirror at the end of the theater. And this was very interesting because I think that gave like, how do you say, a dream dimension to the story. So it was not really the same situation you have in front of you, the people. It was like these people was floating in the air. And this was really very interesting. But sometimes we were also among the people. walking in the people, especially when we were performing bad characters. The good ones were usually on the top. So this was really
Less real.
very real and really a 360 degrees performance.
Okay. Gabriele, thank you very much for a very interesting evening.
Thank you.
We'll repeat that after we meet in person in Jerusalem on Sunday.
We will see on Sunday on Jerusalem.
Yeah.
I'm really glad about that.
Okay. It's a pity that you don't have time to come over to the house for a nice dinner. It's time that I tell you the secret that I love cooking and baking and
Maybe you change your mind.
No, I really, I would like to understand what is not able to do Dan, because it's able to do basically everything in cooking. He's an opera lover. He's a movie lover. It's like a magician with technology. Now it's always cooked. But where do you find the time to do all this?
Friday is dedicated to cooking and baking.
Oh.
No, I mean, I bake a bread almost every day.
But there is a sort of special meal you are, how do you say, you are supposed to eat on Friday evening?
No.
No.
We
But-
don't.
No, I
it's
know.
Friday evening. It started off with the fact that
Shabbat, yeah.
no. It's
Oh.
the sons of Nira come for dinner. They don't live with us anymore, and slowly we have enlarged the family, and some friends of mine come also. So it became a kind of no. It doesn't. Both of us are not religious people, so.
Okay.
But no, it's the thing is the way I cook. I never know what I'm going to do. It kind of happens while I do it. But for the bread, you have to bake in a certain way. But anyhow. So thank you again for being here with us.
I hope to come back again. Maybe I hope that since we will have the general manager of the Israeli Opera on Sunday, I will try to do my best to be hired by her, and so I will be pleased to try your bakery and your kitchen. That's
with pleasure.
I promise I will try to do that. Because
With
really
pleasure.
I would love to be 1 month or something like that in Tel Aviv because I like very much.
Yeah, but last time you were in Haifa, no?
Yes, unfortunately, first time because the people say, who is going to work lives in Haifa, who is going to pray lives in Jerusalem, who is going to enjoy lives in Tel Aviv. So I want to go to the place where people enjoy.
Yeah,
You learn it quickly.
Yes,
Okay, so we're going to listen to Sani, the opera about basically the life and sacrifice of Giovanni Falcone. I remember also the very dramatic events, and they repeated it on television again and again and again. At the time I was living in Italy. Difficult times, very difficult. There was a lot of fear in the air. There's a lot of apprehension of what might happen, what did happen. So here we go. Let's mute our microphones for the last time so that we don't get echo. And
Palermo è in genere una città sonnolenta, dove gli uffici giudiziari sai una procura perché interessata che un ufficio di istruzione non si occupano di cose di combattimento, queste cose non le seguono.
Giovanni, ma secondo te questa mafia esiste davvero?
Senza tralasciare i particolari, anche quelli all'ufficio istruzione ha detto: io sono tornato a vivere.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you,
night,
thank you.
and
See you
Yeah.
on Sunday.
have an easy flight.
Thank you, Nira, to be
Thank
with
you.
us.
See you on
Bye-bye.
Sunday. Bye.
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 Bye.